Tonight, something almost happened. Maybe you swerved to miss a car. Maybe you caught yourself at the edge of a step. Maybe you just heard something behind you in the dark. And for one single second, everything snapped into focus. Colors got sharper. Sound got louder. Your heart hammered against your ribs like it was trying to escape. And then, nothing. You were fine. But here is the strange part. For a few seconds after, you felt completely, undeniably alive. Why does that happen? Why does your body wait until the edge of disaster to finally wake up? The answer reaches back further than you can imagine. Further than your grandparents. Further than civilization. Further than language. It reaches back to a version of you that had to survive every single day without any of the tools you take for granted. And that version of you left something behind. Something that still lives in your chest. Something that fires up every time the world reminds you that you are mortal. Psychologists call it the stress inoculation response. Neuroscientists call it sympathetic nervous system activation. But if you strip away the labels, what it really is your body deciding in a fraction of a second whether you are about to die. And the bizarre truth is this: your brain does not experience that moment as fear. Not at first. It experiences it as clarity. Researcher David Eagleman at Stanford has spent years studying how the brain processes time during threatening moments. In one now famous experiment, he had volunteers fall backwards off a platform in a controlled, safe environment while wearing a device on their wrist that flashed numbers too fast for a resting brain to read. His hypothesis was simple: if the brain really does slow time during a threat, participants should be able to read numbers their calm brain couldn't. What he found was more complicated and more fascinating. The brain doesn't actually slow time. What it does is record more. It saturates memory. Every sensory detail gets stamped, filed, archived at a rate the ordinary resting brain simply doesn't bother with. That's why near-miss moments feel like they lasted longer than they did. You weren't moving slower. You were remembering more. And the reason your brain does this goes back about 300 million years. Long before you existed, long before anything that looked remotely like a human walked this planet, your distant ancestors were small, prey-sized. The nervous systems that survived were the ones that could shift instantly from idle to maximum capacity the moment a threat appeared. The ones that couldn't shift fast enough didn't pass on their genes. Every generation, the threshold got sharper. The response got faster. The reward for surviving got deeper. That reward is the part most people don't talk about. When your sympathetic nervous system fires, it doesn't just send adrenaline. It sends a cascade. Norepinephrine floods your prefrontal cortex, sharpening attention to a single point. Cortisol spikes, telling every system in your body to stop whatever it's doing and pay attention to right now. And then, and this is the part that explains everything, your brain releases dopamine. Not after the threat passes, during it. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. That is one of the most persistent myths in popular neuroscience. Dopamine is a salience chemical. It marks things as important. It says, this moment matters. Pay attention. Remember this. And in a moment of genuine threat, your brain floods itself with the signal that this, right here, right now, is the most important thing that has ever happened to you. That is why you feel alive. Not because danger is fun, but because your brain is treating the moment like it is the only moment. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent decades separating two systems most people assume are the same: the wanting system and the liking system. Wanting is dopamine. Liking is opioids. You can want something desperately and not enjoy it at all. You can enjoy something deeply without wanting more of it. In a near-miss moment, your brain is overwhelmingly in the wanting state, hyper-focused, hyper-present, reaching forward with every resource it has. The liking comes later, in the exhale, in the shaky laugh, in the story you tell your friends. But the aliveness, that electric, razor-sharp sense that you are undeniably here, that is the wanting system running at full power. Now think about what this means for modern life. You live in an environment your nervous system was never designed for.